Welcome back, everyone. I am Friar Tuck. This is my epoch. So I kind of gotta, there we go. That should keep my hands warm, because it's still under freezing. It's like 30 degrees right now. So it was 27 when I woke up this morning. Damn, it's cold. Whew. But anyways, I had to share this thought with you, and maybe I'll go in and do it today, just because I gotta warm up a little bit. This is, sleeping. It's fine. It's the sleeping's not the problem. It's when you're upright and you can't lay in bed all day in a sleeping bag until it thaws out enough for you to, because this is honestly, most of the homeless will probably be up on the cold nights, and they'll be walking around because that's the only way that they can stay warm. And I've seen in a lot of places, especially where it's cold, and then during the day they'll sleep because it's the only time it's warm enough for them to be able to sleep, and so on and so forth. And also that contributes to part of the drug epidemic that we experience. But I had a thought today, and the thought was, why, like, if we set up a tent community, a tent city, why do they want to destroy it, and what benefits could be had if ran properly? Okay, because every tent community, especially any of the dignity villages, there was always a lot of drug use. We will say that some people just didn't make it out upright. That'll be the easiest way to put it, for various reasons, not just for the obvious, but for the unobvious as well. There was a lot of stuff that goes on in those, because they're not regular. Well, even the police would come by, and even they would try, when you have a low barrier shelter, try and manage something like this. It kind of opens the door for a lot of the stupid. And if you allow Lord of the Flies to happen, then Lord of the Flies will happen. There has to be some order. It does not have to be a religious order. It would be, most importantly, not to be a religious order, for various reasons. We're human beings, and we all have different ways in which we see the end coming. So to have religion behind it, to force one doctrine versus the many doctrines that many people believe or don't believe or whatever. Okay. But in these homeless communities, what it allows them to do, what a proper one would allow them to do, is it would allow them, okay, you just like you live in a neighborhood. Well, in a small little dignity village that is properly managed, and there are a few of them out there, and they are fairly strict, and they will throw you out. But there is no real solution that happens out there. So in Chattanooga, they had one tent city that had survived past the lifting of the lockdowns and all the pandemic stuff. And they were up and running, but they were the city was trying to shut them down. But community is community. It's like living in a neighborhood. But in the homeless community, because you guys are living in tents next to each other, I mean, you can hear each other fart. It's you kind of have to have a communication, some sort of interaction with your neighbors more often than you would as a house person. As a house person, you buy your place, and you move, you come in, you go out, you don't see your neighbors don't want to see you, so on and so forth. But in the homeless community, that is probably one of the most important things, because this allows you to network, to get to know people, to get to know where resources are, to get to know where opportunities are, things that are happening. Because I would be willing to believe that back in the 30s, during the Great Depression, because our ancestors were a lot more responsible than we are, we live in Lord of the Flies. That's the easiest way to explain what goes on out here. I mean, right now the tail wags the dog, and I find that to be interesting. The community allows you to be able to work within your community to find opportunities. It doesn't mean that you have to work in an above the table job as a W-2. There's gonna, especially as the economy falls apart, look at what goes on in France. Yeah, I remember I was driving from Oregon to Dallas. This was the first time I went homeless, I think. I've done it off and on so many times I don't remember when exactly was my first time. It's been that long ago. But just, I was listening to Rush Limbaugh, and he was talking about how over in France that people that children were not considered adults until they were about 28 because of the way the system works. Nobody was able to really get a job or anything else like that because there was very little jobs. They had more of an underground economy until you were 28, and then you were able to get up there and get a job as openings came available. But that's what we face. That's what we're going to see here in the States, and we haven't experienced it yet because it just happens over in Europe in the severely socialist or controlling type democracies. Okay, so democracy, mob rule. Jefferson and Franklin and all of them, they were right when they said that how bad a democracy really was. But as for you guys, I think that this is something that if you have an opportunity to form within your community, especially if as this global economic collapse comes. And look, we've got supply chain issues. We've got growing issues because of extreme weather. Either crops are coming in half of what they used to, or they're just we have had locusts come through. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that happens every year that comes after our food supply, and if too many of them succeed. Plus, look, we're using some of the most fertile soil in the world as a battleground, and so therefore we're going to replace the nutrients with the dead bodies or the soldiers that sacrificed themselves for whatever reason they did. Those guys are making that land fertile again because apparently we took too many nutrients out. This is just it's insane. So as the world breaks down, you are going to have to go back to the way that it used to be, according to Meyer, because those of you guys that know me know that I follow Meyer. And with what he says is, if I remember correctly, is that we will end up in a middle-aged style living situation after we come out of everything that we're coming out of. So, it's going to be much better. No. We have advanced technologically so well that if we could just advance intellectually, emotionally, just evolve as human beings to be better towards each other, this technology would be game changing. It would expand our lifespans. We could properly manage the earth in which we've been given care of. That's what nature is there for. Every creature in nature, including us, has a purpose, and our purpose is to kind of be the gardeners. Okay, we're the ones that make sure that all the rest of it is balanced. That's our purpose in life, and we failed. And so, we're gonna go back to this, and until we can realize that we're the gardeners, we're the caretakers, we're gonna continuously, have these events. It's something that I think we as human beings need to evolve into. But it was something that I was thinking about. It's just the community, why it's important. Just think about when you were a kid, because most of you guys remember when you were a kid, community was extremely important. Without community, nobody knew what was going on because information didn't travel as fast. So think about it like that. You're going to have to really expect that as the world goes upside down, you're going to have to go more of a not just barter, but everything's going to have to be by a handshake. You're going to actually have to have integrity. You're going to have to actually be responsible. and that's gonna actually push us back to where we need to be in thought process as a population. But it's gonna cost us a lot to get back there because we became reckless and irresponsible. But so just think about community, and think about the benefits of it and how it could help the homeless. Think of how your community helps benefit you, the group or the network that you work with. It may not necessarily be your neighbors, but it may be your intellectual community, it may be your work community, it may be because you're part of multiple communities as a housed individual. And so those communities are going to have to be where you are able to get your necessary resources and sustenance from to be able to survive on a daily basis. So that means that you're going to have to be responsible about this, I guess. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching.